Sunlight poured down on its narrow alleys, bouncing off tin roofs and crowded marketplaces. Vendors called out their goods, tricycles rattled, and the smell of warm bread, grilled fish, and sea breeze drifted together. In this bustling, colorful place lived a boy named Andres. Andres was the eldest of 6 children. His family was poor. Their house was small and patched together from wood and bamboo, with a roof that leaked when rainstorms came. But inside that house, there was love and laughter. Andres's parents worked very hard, and even though there was never much money, the children learned to smile and dream. Being the oldest, Andres already felt a quiet responsibility. He often helped his father fix things and soothed his younger siblings when they cried. Then, one year, when Andres was just 14, a great sadness fell upon the family. Both of his beloved parents passed away, one after the other, leaving the children alone in the wide, challenging world. In a single heartbreaking moment, childhood ended for Andres. His brothers and sisters clung to him, frightened and unsure. "Kuya, what will happen to us now?" his littlest sister whispered, tears shining in her eyes. Andres swallowed his own fear. He was only a boy, but he felt something fierce stir inside his chest, a promise to protect. He drew his siblings close and said softly but firmly, "Do not be afraid. I am here. We will stay together. I will take care of you." From that day, Andres was no longer just a son or a brother. He became Kuya, the head of the family. He was still a child, but he carried himself with the courage of a grown man. Life was very hard without parents. School became impossible because someone had to earn money for food and rent. Andres longed to learn, but knew his brothers and sisters needed to eat first. Yet he refused to give up on knowledge. He decided that if he could not go to school, he would become a maker of things and a seeker of wisdom. Andres had clever, gifted hands. He carved smooth bamboo canes that were strong but graceful. He folded bright paper fans that fluttered beautifully in Manila's sweltering heat. He painted and lettered signs for small shops, making each one neat and elegant so customers would notice. He and his siblings would walk the busy streets, selling these handmade treasures. People soon recognized the thin but determined boy with gentle eyes and clever fingers. "Buy our fans," his brothers would call. "Look, Kuya made this walking stick," the younger ones would say with pride. The children were poor, but they were a team. Andres taught them to share even the last spoonful of rice, to work hard, and to hold each other up. Though their bellies were sometimes empty, their hearts were tied together with love and determination. At night, after long hours of labor, Andres did something magical. He spent any spare coins he could have used for sweets on books. He worked as a warehouse guard, surrounded by ropes and tar barrels, and when darkness came and the other workers slept, he would light a small kerosene lamp and open his secret treasures, pages filled with knowledge. That warehouse became his secret library. In its quiet corners, Andres met great thinkers and brave heroes. He read about people who had fought for freedom and justice. He learned about revolutions in faraway lands, about men and women who believed all people deserved dignity. He devoured the writings of the wise Filipino doctor Jose Rizal, who dreamed of peaceful reform and equality. He discovered the fiery struggles of the French Revolution, and he learned about American leaders who fought for liberty. Each book was more than paper. To Andres, the stories were sparks of fire and light. They told him that the suffering he saw every day under foreign rulers was not natural, not fair, and not unchangeable. They whispered, "The world can be different if you are brave enough to act." Slowly, Andres taught himself to read and write not only in Tagalog, but also in Spanish, and even some English. Though he never stepped into a fine school, he proved a great truth. Real education begins with a hungry heart and a determined mind. As Andres grew older, he could no longer ignore the injustice around him. The Philippines was under the control of a powerful foreign empire. Ordinary people were forced to pay heavy taxes, to carry identification papers called cedulas, and to accept unfair treatment. The rich and the connected lived comfortably, but the poor labored endlessly. Andres felt his homeland was like a child trapped under a heavy blanket of unfairness. He first joined peaceful reform groups that followed the ideas of José Rizal. But when Rizal was exiled and gentle petitions failed, Andres realized that polite words alone would not free his people. Change needed courage and unity. One secret night in 1892, Andres gathered a few trusted friends in a quiet house. The air was heavy with danger, yet also with hope. They whispered of freedom, of dignity, of a Philippines that could stand proud. Out of that meeting was born a secret society with a mighty purpose. The Katipunan, its full Tagalog name meant the highest and most honorable association of the sons and daughters of the nation. But people called it simply KKK. Anyone who loved the Philippines could join. Poor farmers, laborers, workers, even some who had wealth but wanted justice. Andres, because of his vision and bravery, became the group's supremo, or supreme leader. The Katipunan had clear goals: to unite Filipinos of every class and fight for full independence from foreign rule. Andres gave the movement two sacred gifts. The first was its mission: freedom at any cost, using all necessary means. The second was its cartilla, a simple but powerful guide to being a true hero and a good person, written by his friend Emilio Jacinto. The cartilla taught that greatness is not about riches or titles, it is about honor, kindness, and treating every person as a brother or sister. One rule said, "A noble person chooses honor over personal gain." Under Andres's passionate leadership, the Katipunan grew from a handful of dreamers into a force of hope. Secret meetings spread like quiet fire through towns and villages. Soon, there were tens of thousands of members, all bound together by the dream of freedom. But secrets cannot last forever. In 1896, the foreign rulers discovered the existence of the Katipunan. Arrests began, fear rippled across the land. Andres knew that waiting any longer would mean disaster. He decided it was time to act. He called the members to gather in a place called Balintawak, under the blazing August sun. Men and women stood shoulder to shoulder, their faces filled with determination and nervous excitement. They looked to their supremo, the boy from Tondo who had once sold paper fans to feed his siblings. Andres stepped forward holding a cedula, the hated tax paper that every Filipino was forced to carry. It was a symbol of oppression and humiliation. For a heartbeat, the field was silent. Then, with a fierce, clear motion, Andres tore the paper into pieces. The sound of ripping echoed like a drumbeat of rebellion. He raised his voice and shouted in the people's own tongue, "Mabuhay ang Katipunan! Mabuhay ang Pilipinas! Long live the Katipunan! Long live the Philippines!" The crowd erupted, voices thundering across the fields. Men and women tore up their own cedulas and threw the scraps into the air like confetti of defiance. This moment became known as the cry of Pugad Lawin. It was more than just a gesture. It was the beginning of revolution, the first roar of a nation saying, "Enough! We will fight for our freedom." From that day, Andres led with fiery courage. Though his soldiers were poorly armed compared to the mighty empire's forces, he faced betrayal, hunger, and desperate battles. Yet he never turned back, because his dream was larger than himself. He believed that every Filipino, poor or rich, educated or not, deserved dignity, justice, and a free home. Andres Bonifacio's life was not easy, and his struggle was not without heartbreak, but his spirit burned so brightly that it lit the way for an entire nation. Today, people call him the father of the Philippine Revolution, and his story continues to inspire. His face appears on the 10-peso coin, but he is more than a picture on money. He is the great heart of Tondo, a reminder that true heroes can rise from humble streets. From Andres's journey, we learn timeless lessons. We learn about perseverance. No matter how poor or burdened you are, learning and hard work can lift you beyond your circumstances. We learn about patriotism. Real love for one's country means caring for the people, protecting their freedom, and standing against injustice. We learn about justice and equality. Every human being deserves respect and dignity, no matter their wealth or education. And we learn about unity. Alone we are small, but together we can be unstoppable. Imagine the boy who once comforted his hungry brothers, carving bamboo canes by lamplight, now standing before thousands and shouting for liberty. That is the power of courage and love. So when you hold a 10-peso coin and see his calm, brave face, remember this: the greatest heroes are not always the ones with the loudest voices or the fanciest degrees. Sometimes they are simply the ones with the purest hearts, the boldest spirits, and the deepest love for their people. Andres Bonifacio, the great heart of Tondo, the leader of hope, shows us that anyone, even a poor child who sells fans on the street, can rise to change a nation when they choose courage, unity, and love.